Hey everyone, we're really excited to record this Eating Throughout the Holidays workshop for you. I know that this is a really tough time of year for both of our clients with all of the parties and festivities, and a lot of people can get into that all or nothing approach and not know how to enjoy the holidays while still staying on track with their goals. So we hope that this presentation helps you to find balance this season and not be 15 pounds set back come the new year.
Thank you for joining us. I am Dr. Peter Swanz. I'm a naturopathic physician. I went to the Southwest College of Naturopathic Medicine. It's now called Sonoran University in Health Sciences. I am the owner of Vital Force Naturopathy here in Louisville, and I'm a homeopath. I'm a fellow of the Homeopathic Association of Naturopathic Physicians. I am I like to help people holistically transform their health. I want to talk with patients about their diet, their lifestyle, their nutrition, and support them in encouraging the body's own healing processes.
And I am Kaitlyn Brown. I am owner and founder of Mind Body Freedom. I'm an integrative health practitioner, doctor of physical therapy, and I have done multiple functional health mentorships. I like to bring a unique areas of specialties to my clients with my root cause approach with functional medicine. And I also was a previous collegiate athlete and I competed in bodybuilding. So I know a lot about manipulating the physique as well. So I combine those different areas of health, wellness and physique manipulation to really help my clients get to their health, longevity, and fitness goals. So, when we are looking at anything, it's so important that in order to know the direction we're going, we know what our goal is. So, with the holidays, I tend to put people in one of three categories. And I would imagine anybody listening to this is probably in the first two categories. But category A is losing weight or making progress on a specific health goal. Maybe you are one of our clients working through a gut protocol or an autoimmune protocol, or you are in a fat loss phase and you're wanting to continue to make progress. So we're going to be a little bit more restrictive in that category. We have category B where, hey, I just want to maintain, right? I can take a break on the fat loss. I'm not trying to go through any really heavy health protocol. I just want to maintain and start the new year where I entered the holiday season. And then we have category three, which is our YOLO category. Bring on the cookies, the brownies. I don't care if I'm 20 pounds up in January. Diet starts in the new year, which, we typically recommend probably maintaining, unless you are like in a specific category where it's really important that we make progress like ASAP. But most of our clients, we typically recommend maintain throughout the holiday year.
And the information we're going to share here should help you to be able to enjoy the parties so you don't feel like you're missing out and foregoing the whole YOLO approach.
So what I talk to my clients about is every single week during the holiday season, it's important that we assess the week. I always botch this, but what's the saying? They say if you fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Got it right. So for example, there's some weeks where we might just have one holiday party or one Thanksgiving meal. And then there's other weeks we have four Christmases to go to, two cookie parties, and three happy hours. So it's important because how many events we have is going to dictate how we approach each event. So it's not the one meal that causes you to gain the weight. So for example, if you have one meal that week during the holidays, let's say it's the third week of November and you have one Friendsgiving. Okay, if we have 21 meals a week, so seven times three, and you have one meal of just what you want in moderation, right? Don't be crazy with it, but what you want in moderation, 20 out of 21 meals on track and healthy, we're going to be fine. We don't need to overthink that meal. Now, if you have three events in a week, that's a little different. We can't just have whatever we want in moderation all three parties, or we probably, if we're trying to maintain, or we probably are going to end up gaining weight if we're doing that multiple weeks in a row. So I'm going to give you guys just a little example here. And I apologize, I am sick, but we made a promise we are going to record this today, so we keep our commitments. Um, but let's say you have three holiday parties, and one is a happy hour. It's from 4 to 6, and there's going to be drinks and appetizers. you have another party, and let's say your boss is taking you to a nice steak dinner with the other employees, and it's a fixed menu. And then you have another one, and it's you and your girlfriends, and you're making sugar cookies and bringing your kiddos, and it's more of like a cookie decorating party. But there's also going to be snacks out and alcohol. So, how I might approach this, or how my clients approach it, would be okay, the happy hour, I'm going to eat before and have my own healthy snack afterwards. And I'm going to enjoy alcohol here for the happy hour. So, I'm going to have two tequilas with Diet Cokes, two low calorie drinks. We're big tequila fans. So, um, the other one, okay, your boss is paying for you to have a nice steak dinner. So, you know what? I'm not going to have the wine. I'm not going to have the dessert, but I am going to enjoy the steak, baked potato, and, Brussels sprouts or whatever that comes in that menu. And then the cookie decorating party, okay, I'm not going to have the champagne, even though my other friends are. Um, I'm not going to have the little appetizer snacks, but I want to have two of these cookies and enjoy them with my girlfriends and my kiddos. So you can see how I kind of separated that out. Drinks at one, meal at another, dessert at another, versus if it's just that one meal, maybe you have a drink and the meal and a small dessert.
Brilliant. You definitely want to plan ahead. And if you're going someplace new, it's a great idea to look and find out what's being served there. If you're going to a place that you go every year and you know what to expect, that's awesome. Because again, now you can start thinking, hey, I love my Aunt Edna's rhubarb pie. And so I'm definitely going to have a piece of that. We want to go in with it having some idea about your yes and no's. What is important to you? What are the things that, resonate with your connection to the holiday season? You don't have to have everything. You definitely want to understand the length of the event. Is it an all-day event? Is it something happening in the afternoon? Is it something more in the evening? Is there going to be a meal? It's always a good idea to pack along some healthy snacks. It's okay if you leave those in the car, leave some water in the car. But you want to have some snacks because if you're gonna have a meal, or maybe there's just those appetizers, and then there might be a drive to get there, and when you're heading home or on the way, if you're feeling hungry, you want to be able to eat something that is on plan or on program for what you're already doing. And then when you're invited to bring something to contribute to the party, absolutely bring a healthy dish, something that you enjoy, that you can eat. Think, veggies, low glycemic carbs, protein appetizers. You want to contribute with something you can have so that you don't walk into a place, and then look and there's really nothing that's going to work with what you had planned ahead.
Yeah, and kind of going on the yeses and nos, like he said, like pick things that are like special to your soul, to your heart, like Christmas time, right? I can speak, for example, my grandma's reindeer food, Oreo balls, and Buckeyes. Those are things I only get at Christmas time, and they're special to me, and they have sentiment to them. Versus there's also, when I go to my family's, things of potato chips and random M&Ms and M's and stuff. I can have potato chips, M&Ms anytime, right? I can only have my grandma's special desserts one time a year. So again, don't just randomly snack on the stuff that you can have any time of year that come in a package. Choose the special homemade things that maybe you just get at those times of year. So if you are just surrounding around one big meal, like a Christmas dinner, a Thanksgiving dinner, how do we approach that? One bigger meal. So protein, load up on the lean protein. So unlimited lean proteins, which is going to be more of your white meat. So like white meat chicken, the white meat turkey, fish, shrimp, even like a lean pork tenderloin or a lean ham. Load up on the protein. That's going to be really satiating, very low in calories. Um, if you're going to choose more fatty proteins, which is more of the brown meats, brown turkey, beef, steak, moderate portions, anything fried, really limit that. Veggies, if it is more just steamed, roasted veggies, so it's not caked in a ton of butter and oil, unlimited veggies. So we're loading up on our protein and our veggies. And then pick 2 to 4 of your favorites. Whether that's a dessert, an appetizer, a side dish, or if you're somebody who likes to try a ton of different things, you could do like 4 to 8 mini servings. And where you fall in regards to that 2 to 4 normal servings or 4 to 8 might dictate, again, if you're in trying to really make progress, you might do 2 servings. If you're kind of in a maintenance, maybe you do more 4. Um, So, for example, and you guys, we won't read these slides verbatim. You can read through some different examples. But if I'm looking at Thanksgiving dinner, for example, I'm going to have unlimited white meat turkey and unlimited um, steamed broccoli that is there and a little side salad. So that stuff's unlimited. A little couple pieces of the brown meat turkey because I like it, but I remember Dr. Swanz and Kaitlyn said moderate brown meat. And then so I loaded up on my protein veggies. And then, okay, I love the sweet potato casserole. So I'm gonna have 4 servings because I'm trying to maintain in the 2 to 4 normal servings. So I'm gonna have a half fist as a serving of the sweet potato casserole because I love the marshmallows on top. And then I'm gonna have half a serving of the green bean casserole. So that is not considered an unlimited veggie because that's more of like a casserole type dish, right? There's extra things in it versus just the green beans. So there's two. And then I don't really care about the other sides. I want to save my other 2 things for dessert. I have a big sweet tooth, so I'm going to have about a half serving or a serving, about a half a fist of pecan pie. And then maybe there's like a special cake, and I'm going to have a small serving of that. So that might be how you approach one big meal.
And then definitely with the leftovers, if they're sending you home with stuff, take the stuff that's going to work with what you're doing. The protein, the veggies, the protein, the veggies. Leave the desserts, the breads, the pastas, all that stuff back. Right. Here's some other tips that can help the day of a big party. And the really important first one is do not fast or go to the event starving, right? You want to eat normally before heading out to the event. And if it doesn't trigger you to overeat, you could modify the other meals that day where you're eating more protein and veggies and leaving space for carbs. This tends to, work if you're being really specific with your macros. So you're going to cut back on your total carbs for the day and fill in there at the party. You definitely want to continue with your workout plan. We want to burn through that glycogen in the muscles, burn some calories. It's going to help with insulin sensitivity. So when you eat those carbs at the meal, it's not going to spike your blood
Can
sugar
I
as
pause for
much.
a second on that? And just remember too, we're working out not to make room for all of this calories. We don't want to view it as that mentality, like, okay, I'm going to burn as many calories as I can and go sprint as long as I can, run as long as I can so I can eat as much as I can. It's more we're moving our body because it's healthy, it feels good, it's putting us in the right mentality. And yes, it is going to burn some calories, but we just want to be making sure we're avoiding some of that, like, um, burning as much as I can to eat as much as I can type mentality.
And going out for a walk after meals, that's a great way. It's first off, you get to connect with your family, your friends, have a nice conversation, and it helps to facilitate the digestion and the insulin sensitivity. If you're hosting the party, send people home with food. It's a great idea to have some, travel Tupperware disposable containers that you're okay to let go. That way, you don't have all that food stuck at the house. And you really just want to set yourself up for success. If you're going to a party, you want to know when you go home that there's food at the house that you can eat that is on plan, on program for you. You don't want to get home and then, later in the day start snacking and eating all the junk food back at the house. So we really want the party to be the party itself. It's not a whole day event. And then as always, we say this to, patients and clients all the time, stay hydrated. If you get dehydrated, you can feel like you're hunger, like that's hunger inside. So you want to stay hydrated. Water and herbal teas, those are what are going to keep us hydrated. Coffee, alcohol, and caffeinated beverages will dehydrate.
Okay, so alcohol. This is actually a near and dear subject to me because I used to avoid alcohol like the plague. I thought that you could not be healthy. This was many, many years ago. You can't be healthy and drink alcohol. Um, and now, actually, alcohol brings a lot of joy in my life. I just have a couple drinks a week typically, but it allows me to just sink in, be more present, let loose a little bit, and it actually provides me a lot of balance. Now, if you choose not to have alcohol, that's amazing also. There's not a good or bad choice, but I think alcohol can be consumed in a healthy way. I'm not saying alcohol's healthy. Let's not kid ourselves and say our red wine, the resveratrol, is anti-aging. No, more harm than good. Alcohol is not healthy, but it can be consumed as part of a healthy, balanced program. but there is, we can obviously overdo it. So we want to be moderate. And, I talk with a lot of my women that I work with are big on socializing and happy hour. So we just have to find a way to moderate and fit it into our lifestyle, where it doesn't also wreck our goals. So there's some ways to go about this. Understand a serving. So 1.5 ounces of like a liquor, such as tequila, vodka, bourbon, whiskey, rum, gin, that is one serving. 12 ounces of a beer or seltzer, 5 ounces of wine. So if you're going to a restaurant and you're getting the 10-ounce wine pour, that is two drinks. That is not one just because it's in one glass. Have a full glass of water, hydrate between. That's going to help with the dehydration. It's also going to slow down your drinking. Use diet unsweetened mixers. Um, get tequila and Diet Coke, vodka and Diet Coke, or soda water with lime, that's 0 calories. Or my favorite, I tell my clients, bring like a little Mio, or like the Crystal Light squeezes, and you can get like soda water, lime, whatever, liquor of your choice, such as tequila, vodka, and then you can do whatever flavor you want, like a lemonade, a cherry limeade, so you can bring your little squirts to a restaurant if you want. And there's so many now too. Like if you go in my fridge, I have a diet pina colada mix, a diet cotton candy mix, a diet strawberry margarita mix. And yes, there's artificial sweeteners in these things, which can disrupt the gut microbiome. And some they can cause slight blood sugar spikes. But overall, again, like let's not kid ourselves and say regular Coke is healthier than Diet Coke. Neither are necessarily like healthy, but we would rather, if we're having the alcohol calories, other holiday calories, take a little artificial sweetener in moderation over, a 200 calorie sugar-filled Coke. Um, Yeah, just if you can drink earlier in the day. So alcohol does disrupt our sleep. And so, I get that most events are in the evening, so this isn't always possible. But let's say you're at an event from 4 to 10 p.m. It's going to be a whole evening party. You're going to have two drinks. Space it at the beginning versus at the end, and that's going to make sure it's not disrupting your sleep as much. If you can, don't consume alcohol around other heavy foods and desserts. Alcohol is a toxin. So your body, it's smart. It's trying to help you. It wants to get rid of that toxin when it senses it. And so what it's going to do, alcohol has calories, right? And so it's going to burn off the alcohol calories, the toxic calories as quickly as it can, and it's going to store other things that you're consuming so that it can prioritize getting the toxin out of your system. So I able to consume alcohol on a weekly basis in moderation. I stay lean, and it's because if I am going to have like a heavy free meal or dessert, I don't do that around alcohol. I would have that on a separate day or not at the same time and sitting. Yeah, we can kind of
Yeah.
go on from there.
There are definitely supplements that can be helpful for the holiday parties, and you can use these targeted supplements to address the bigger meals. It can help with digestion, with inflammation, with toxin removal, help the body to better utilize the extra calories or carbs. So digestive enzymes are great, and there are enzymes that are specific for gluten and dairy to help the body break those down. If those are things you avoid, they're not get out of jail free, eat whatever you want cards. You can't do that. It's for a meal. You also, glucose disposal agents, things that help with blood sugar in insulin spikes, like berberine or gymnema or chromium. These are great. There's some great products out there like that. Detox supports and binders. So activated charcoal is a great example, right? This is something that will bind up whatever we put in the gut and you're going to pass it out. So doing some activated charcoal before, during, and after a meal, where you're eating stuff that really doesn't work systemically in your body, it's going to bind it up in the gut. And then when you eliminate it, it's going to take it out with you. So this is something I do with patients all the time when they're trying to avoid gluten and dairy, but they're, want to go and enjoy the big Thanksgiving meal. And then keeping inflammation in check, stuff like omega-3s, turmeric, ginger, these help to lower inflammation. This is going to help because, again, when we're having these insulin spikes, that causes more inflammation. If we're eating foods we normally avoid, we're sensitive to, that's going to push up inflammation. And then B vitamins are awesome for alcohol detoxification. Alcohol dehydrogenase is what helps the body rid those toxins, and it requires B vitamins to be active. So these are just some general supplements that we recommend.
Okay, so how to avoid overdoing it. It's so easy to do. And honestly, our next slide is going to be about, oops, I overdid it. Now what? It's gonna happen, guys. So don't beat yourself up. But if we can have a plan and avoid overdoing it for the most part, like that's going to be helpful. So if you go to a big party or you're at like you go to Thanksgiving dinner that's coming up, look at the spread ahead of time. Okay, have a plan. We talked about what to do at a big holiday meal with the unlimited protein, veggies, pick 2 to 4 of your favorite things. Know before you go up there and start eating and snacking what you're going to have. Okay, I see this and this. I'm going to go for that and that. Have a plan. Um, and keep it to one plate. Get it all on one plate because in your brain, you're kind of we're working with our brain kind of psychology here to help it. When it's stuck to this one plate, our brain knows, okay, I get this one plate. I'm having my, protein, veggies, and 2 to 4 of my favorite things, and I'm keeping it to this one plate versus the grazing. That is what typically, that's where most of the calories come from. Many people eat way more just mindlessly. I get up to go to the bathroom, grab a handful of this, go here, grab another Buckeye, go here, grab another handful of the Chex Mix, and you might have 800,000 plus calories of just grazing, not even being present with the meal and even enjoying it. Um,
Can I say
I,
can I say something real quick? Yeah, this
yeah.
it's a great tip. I mean, not party related. If you're having a snack at home, don't eat out of the box or the bag. Literally measure out a serving, put it away, and then enjoy the snack. And then if you want more, go back and get more if you're going to do it. This is what I tell my patients, but just be aware of how many servings you're consuming when you do this.
hmm And you're better off though, like versus if you are going to go back and get more, measure it out, but you are better off to keep it to that one thing. I would rather you, if you know you're going to have, if it's unrealistic of you to have one serving of whatever potato chips and you know you're gonna have two, well then put two on the one plate because if you are going back, you're more likely then you're like, oh, it's okay to keep going back. So try to just put it all to that one plate if you can. But yeah, absolutely. Look in the back, look at the label, because many times like chips, it might say 10 chips as a serving and you have 30 thinking it's one serving. So pay attention to the nutrition labels. I do this with my clients all the time who struggle with overeating, binging. I use that in a loose term. Basically like kind of uncontrolled where we can't stop. We have that little bit of sugar, that little taste of whatever, and then we just keep thinking about it, going back for more. Again, we're kind of using psychology hacks here. Is if you struggle when you have something less healthy and you can't stop thinking about it or stop, have something on plan or healthy in your mind, such as a protein shake. And it might seem, hey, Kaitlyn, I just had this high calorie meal or dessert, and you're telling me to add more calories? Yes, I am, because if you're adding 100 calories from a protein shake after, but it's saving you 500 calories from going back and forth the rest of the day. Oh, I think I hit you.
That's
Sorry.
all right.
I get animated. Um, then we're actually saving calories overall net wise. So going for a walk after a meal, just get out of the kitchen. Get out of the kitchen. And also it takes some time for our stomach for those satiety signals to kick in. So just get out of the kitchen, get it a little time. And oftentimes, you won't be thinking about that next serving if you can just give yourself 10 minutes outside. And then this is something that they use in more like addiction therapy. It's called ride the urge. And so a lot of times when we have that quick hit for the cigarette, the food, the alcohol. Like as quickly as it comes, it will go because it's like that quick dopamine hit or like trying to avoid boredom or whatever that we get. It's that quick dopamine hit we want. And so, what we don't want to do is say, I can't have that because then bratty teenager is going to come out and it's going to say, well, screw you. I'm going to have it. You can't tell me what to do. And so, we all have that bratty teenager inside of us, right? I know I do. So we have to talk to it like a bratty teenager. And we have to say, hey, you know what? You can have that. If you want it in 10 minutes, you can have it. But first, go outside, take a walk, get out of the kitchen. And in 10 minutes, when you come back in, if you still want that, you can have it. 9 out of 10 times, you're not going to want it at that point.
Yeah, 10 to 15 minute window is a game changer. If you can just get that in your head, hey, I'm going to wait it out, it makes a big difference. And so, oh no, I overdid it. Now what? You definitely, again, want to get right back on track, whether it's the next day or the next meal. Don't let one mistake derail all the progress you've made, all the investment you've put into your health and your time. And again, we don't want to overly restrict or fast the next day because we can fall into that binge restrict cycle. So just get back on track. It is okay if it's not a trigger. You could increase protein in veggies the next day, but you and cut back a little bit on the carbs, right? Just to kind of make up for that. But you don't want that to then create a cycle again where you find yourself overeating. Definitely exercise as normal. We're going to burn up the glycogen, the carbs that we consume. Don't overdo it. You maybe stressed your body with more food. So, at the party. So don't overstress in the gym. It's a great idea to increase water the next day just to help flush things out, make sure we're eliminating. If we've put something different in the gut that we haven't been consuming, that can throw digestion and elimination off. So some extra water is going to help there. And then if you've got a sauna or access to one, that's a great way to detox, to relax, move out some of that extra water that the body might hold because, maybe you're eating more processed foods or other things you're sensitive to.
Yeah, and just be mindful. Back, when I was a physical therapist, a lot of times we'd see injuries after the holidays because, people want to work out harder again to burn off the calories. But the problem is, they're eating this inflammatory foods. A lot of times we're dehydrated, we're having alcohol and stuff and not drinking enough water. That leads, tendons and more likely to have injuries. So don't be just like busting butt as hard as you can the day after a bunch of drinking, you're dehydrated, didn't sleep well, you're inflamed. That is going to set you up for injury possibility.
Also.
Okay. So the holidays is so important, right? It's not about the food. It's about spending time with our loved ones, family, friends, making memories. And oftentimes we're so caught up in what are we going to eat? How much are we going to eat? Or is this going to make me gain a bunch of weight? Some women and men, worry so much about the holidays and overthinking if it's going to make them gain weight. Other people, again, they're just so obsessed with the food and going crazy on it that it takes away from what the holidays truly are. Whether you're religious or not, it's a time to be present with family. And for some of us, there are big spiritual reasons as well, or importances of these times of year. So, food is part of our culture, and food can be enjoyed and celebrated and shared. But the most important thing is memories with our family. So, I talk to my clients about the three M's. So, we want to form memories. So, how do we do that? By being mindful. And how do we be mindful? We live in the moment. So, again, we're not thinking about the food and what we're going to eat. We're being present with our family. So, enjoy the food, but your focus should be on being present. And honestly, if you're going crazy with the food and you stuff yourself so much and then you have to go take a 3-hour nap and this is family you see one day a year, you just took maybe half the time away from them because you had to go sleep. Or it might even, impact your participation the next day if you can't go and throw the football with the kiddos or whatever because your belly's hurting so bad, or you have a migraine because you had so much alcohol inflammation, or you're hungover. So again, just remember, go in and enjoy the food, but is this going to limit my ability to be present? Pay attention to that.
I love the memories over meals. That is such a beautiful, beautiful idea. Also, definitely have non-food activities planned, right? So whether it's the walks or throwing the football, out to the park. A lot of people like to go to the movies around, Thanksgiving or Christmas. Sneak in your own snacks. It's cheaper, and we all know how to get away with it now. Play games, cards. It's a fun idea to do some group exercise or a yoga class. I had a cousin who he had just got his yoga, teacher certification. So he led the whole family through a yoga class, one 4th of July party. That was fun. And crafts is another great idea, just to be creative. So people aren't just sitting around watching TV, but having other things so that these events aren't all food centric makes a big difference.
And then just some other helpful tips. A lot of times we view the holidays, like again, we're not just viewing it as Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and another random party or two. It's like, oh, the whole season. Well, food's a wash. I'm just gonna stop all my exercise. I'm gonna stay up late. View it as like again, kind of this like teenager approach of these 3 months. It's just chaos and it's YOLO. No, it's so important that we do maintain our exercise routine. We maintain, especially, it's dark, it's cold if we're more in the Midwest area. So we're automatically not moving as much. You might not take the dog out for the daily walk every day. You might park a little closer, just go out for those walks a little less naturally. Um, so it's so important that we maintain our exercise routine, that we continue to get good quality sleep. We keep up with our self-care. The holidays are a beautiful time. For some of us, it can be a really stressful time too, with different family dynamics or drama and travel. And for some of the us, end of the year is a big heavy work time. So, it's so important that we are still setting boundaries, taking care of ourselves. Focusing on, I like this one, persistence over perfection. You're not going to be perfect. You're not a human. You're not AI. You're not a robot. You're going to slip up, right? You're going to have five too many cookies. I do. Dr. Swanz does. It happens. But persistence is what's important. Just pick yourself back up. Every new meal is an opportunity to start fresh. Have extra accountability. That could be a coach like Dr. Swans or I. I think honestly, the most valuable time to have a coach is throughout the holidays because that allows you, if you can make it through the holidays and maintain, you can handle anything. So
Mhm.
working with support during that time is important. Um, but it doesn't have to be a coach. It could be a friend. Like, hey, you know what? You have a friend and you guys look at your week and you say, hey, I have three parties, like we talked about at the beginning. Here's my plan. And you guys hold each other accountable to a plan or to going to group classes or workouts, a family member. You could plan a functional medicine detox in January. Just be very careful. We both do detoxes with our clients, but there's a lot of just scam out there. People trying to make a quick buck, people who maybe even mean well but don't know what they're doing. Functional medicine detoxes, amazing if done right, can be harmful if done wrong. So if you are doing something, don't go buy the $29.99 detox that you see on your Instagram ads. Work with a trained professional. It doesn't have to be us, but just a credible source. And then this is really important. Don't do any excuse me. Um, don't do any heavy crash diets right before the holidays because that will tank your metabolism. If you go on a really low calorie, low carb diet right before the holidays, you might lose a little bit. But if you drop your metabolism from 2,000 calories to now 1,200, right, because you ate so little, well, now, when you go and back to eat 2,000 calories, you're going to gain on that versus maintain. So, and this is really between or before any big vacation or anything. Don't go crash diet. You're just setting yourself up for weight gain, maybe even more afterwards.
Beautiful. So, we definitely want to encourage you all to reach out if you have questions about this. We know this is a lot of information. On the topic of detox, I will be doing a detox and fasting presentation at the Rainbow Blossom in Louisville here in December. It's going to be, I think, Tuesday, December.
And this is 2025 too, because we'll probably put this YouTube. Some people might be listening to this down
Yeah,
the road,
down the
but
road. But this is 20, yeah, December 2025. I'll be there. But we really want you to reach out to us. And I think Kaitlyn, you had something you were gonna write your cocktail book, maybe if people want to
oh,
reach out.
yes. So, as I shared, I love making skinny cocktails. I host my friends all the time and make fun different like cocktails that are low calorie versions. So, if you are interested, please email me or text me. Text is probably the quickest way to get a hold of me, 317-379-4526. Shoot me a text and I will send you my free skinny cocktail ebook. It's 25 cocktails, 150 calories or less.
And my practice, Vital Force Naturopathy, it's the phone number is 812-716-4325. You can also text that. Dr. Swans at vitalforcenaturopathy.com. We are so grateful for you all watching this.
Yeah, and if you guys want to learn more about Dr. Swans or I, we have our websites up as well. Check it out. We have client testimonials, transformations, what we do, what we're about. So yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Thank you.
Thank you.